What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Skeffscomicknowledge. I am Skeff, and thank you so much for checking out today's video. I really appreciate it. Let's just get right into it, because I think it's going to be a little bit longer than my previous ones, because what we're doing today is we're going to be doing a market recap of the hottest indie series that has taken this comic world by storm. We are talking about none other than Erica Slaughter, James Tynion, Something is Killing the Children. Without further ado, let's just get right into this video. So about 3 months back, I did a little video about Something Killing Children, buy, sell, hold, but now prices are even crazier than they were before, and so I've had a few people ask me to do a new video due to the new attention the series has received. So we're going to do a new market update on the books that we have today. So without further ado, we'll just get right into it. I'm still going to use the same link and article that I used last time, which is going to be this, Something is Killing the Children, complete breakdown of all the covers. This has still been a very useful tool and has been updated with all the new issues with issue 15 and 16. So that's a great benefit to use, which I'll show you later. But we're going to get right into talking about issue number 1, and I'm going to give you a little breakdown analysis of what it's kind of doing nowadays, what its numbers are CGC census wise, and maybe what you should do going forward. If you didn't know, on Key Collector Comics, their app back in April posted just another little update saying like an inside source tells them that it's going to be in development for a TV series. That's always been the rumor since last June. The series has been so popular that it's kind of to be expected, especially with a Boom deal, with a Netflix deal, like this to be some type of show, even if it's just 15 issues in. So once that little news got notified to the kind of to Key Collectors, you saw a little bit of a price increase. You'll see I put the prices of what the Key Collector had them going for. You'll see nowadays that this $625 price, the $60 price tag, the $75 price tag, these are all like, I think this one's around like $300, this one was around like $25, this one's like $12 when I did my video 3 months back. But all the prices for all the books have gone much higher than they have previously. A few books have kind of stayed relatively the same. A few of the additional printings not really skyrocketed as much as some of the first prints or the cover A's of the books. Just go over Something to Kill Children, cover A, first print, issue number 1. Current lowest price on eBay can be found for this $1,200, free shipping. And it looks like they have 2 of them available. Right now, this is the lowest buy it now on eBay for a cover A, which I do believe I've seen a couple of them pop up. So there's $13.49. I believe there's one for $1,300 the other day. And if you look over to the great website that I also use to find out what best offers are accepted, or 130point.com, link there at the bottom below, you'll see that the most recent sold for the one for $1,200 showed up on there was this buy it now of $1,500 best offer accepted. And it looks like they accepted that best offer of $1,350. Congrats on them. Nice sale. But that's what it is nowadays. So like there's 2 of them available, and to put it in a census regards, we went over to CGC census. Looks like for the cover A first print, there are a little over 1,200 total copies of this book graded across from the Universal to the Signature series, and a couple qualified. That means that they already had the book signed by one of the artists or writers, and they had it graded after the fact. But yes, you can see a big drop off between that 951 in 9.8 down to 154 in the 9.6. At this point, we're going to wait to see how issue 16 comes out, see how the series is received by the newer fans who may have gotten into it later, picked up some trades and read them. This trade, still very hard to come by. Regardless, hopefully picked up the trades, read the series, and are ready to jump in to the new arc, starting with issue 16 with her origin, which I cannot wait for. $1,200 for a cover A, and then you have next up, it'll be $13.49. So right now, those are the 2 cheapest ones on eBay. So in essence, kind of a waiting game, see if anyone picks those up, and if that will continue to move the price forward. Next, we'll cover my favorite cover, one of the favorite covers of the series, is a beautiful Jay Lee cover. This one, cheapest on eBay, is almost the same price as the other cover A. I've always felt this cover was a little underappreciated for what it was. Has Erica on the cover as well, so does cover A, but also has an appearance of the little plush. I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't read it yet, but the plush is important. It has a name, also important. But he made the cover as well. Kind of cool. It's kind of its first appearance on the cover. Not a big deal, but still cool to add that in there. Now, the interesting part of why I think these are commanding such a high price is that you just have this color version of the number 1, and then there is a New York Comic Con black and white version of it well, and that's it for the cover 1 of this Jay Lee. Here is a good breakdown. So on Comic Book Invest website, the first print cover A, then we come down here to the New York Comic-Con Diamond exclusive. They've always done the reprint in the 7th printing for the foil of cover A. Then Frison actually had four different total covers. Granted, the other ones are very difficult to come by and just expensive, but I mean, there are other variants out there. You have the entire black and white, the bloody one, and then the foil one. Unlike with the Jay Lee, you just have the cover B and the New York Comic Con one, which was limited to only 500 copies. So pretty much non-existent and ridiculous prices. You can check them out on eBay. Other interesting part is if we check over to the CGC census for this book, look how low these numbers are. 9/8, only 306 of the Jay Lee ones. I'm not sure if it was all red cover that makes it harder to come by in that grade. Maybe not as many people have it. Maybe not as many people ordered it. But I always thought there was a lot more of them out there. But for a census only showing 412 copies of this book is quite surprising. There are about 2/3 less of these 9/8s than there are of the Frison and the cover A. So I do believe that's probably why the Jay Lees are ticking up in value. I've always been a big fan of them, so I've tried to pick up when I could at decent prices. I got a good little stash for now. But I think that book definitely has more potential of the 3 covers because of how it's presented on the cover. And the last one I want to go over for cover A's at least is going to be the beautiful Frison cover. Like I said, this is the cheapest one on eBay right now, $8.99. This is the last one available. And these have slowly picked in price. If you guys stop by my live sale, you know I sold one of these at that live sale on my channel for a ridiculously cheaper price than what it has listed for there. And to who got it, you're lucky, lucky, lucky. I'm glad you got it. And if you want to check out that new live sale, we have a new live sale coming up this Friday, the 14th at 8:30. So please stop by. I will have other crazy things for sale. But getting into the nitty-gritty of this book is that $900 best offer, and the last 2 sold for that $900 asking price. Head over to the census on this book as well. This one has almost 1,100 copies total graded, so very similar numbers between this book and the cover A. The opportunity to get this book out there in maybe a 9/8, a little bit easier than that Jay Lee book. But the prices nowadays are astronomical for pretty much any of these books. It has been quite ridiculous to track down. So the first print cover A skyrocketed in price, second prints are just as hard to find. Third prints are holding true around that $500 in a 9/8. Same thing with the fourth prints, around that $500 in a 9/8. Fifth prints are $500. Sixth prints are still around that $1,000 to $1,100. The local comic shop day book is a book I did want to discuss. Another one of the variants. But yeah, I definitely want to talk about the local comic book shop day foil variant, which I think has even more potential. With the command that the first print cover A is getting, and the ALA book pretty much a ghost that doesn't exist, that I've only seen once and should have bought, but I didn't. But pretty much a ghost. This is the only other reprint of the first print cover A that we have gotten. But it's a book that I picked up a bunch of when I could. Among the weeks, I think there was around maybe 30,000 total copies of that book. But regardless, it's a book that at the time was, I believe, significantly undervalued for another. Regardless of it being a 7th print and 30,000 copies ordered, I believe it still had value more than what the cover price is asking for. So I picked up a few copies, and right now on eBay, these prices, as you can see, are crazy. All of a sudden, I think once that 8th print came out, these prices started to tick up as well, and I knew they would. Right now, the cheapest foil cover you can buy right now online is $40, with 9/8 have a commanding asking price of $225. I remember just 2 months ago, I sold 2 9/8 the foil for about $110 a piece, just 2 of them. But I think around $175 to $200, I believe you'll see more people getting this book graded. It's a foil cover, and there was that great quality cardstock that Boom always uses, and it looks tremendous. So I believe you'll see this price actually maybe dip back down when you realize more people have copies, more shops may have copies. So this $225 will keep, I believe, going down a little bit, and I'll probably settle maybe around that $175, $150 to $200 range, just because I believe more copies will see the market, are excited just to own a #1 regardless of the 8th printing, regardless of how many printings they made of this book. So this is a book that I still think has potential right now, especially if there is a dip in the prices, which I think there will be. I think you'll see more people posting this book because of how common it was to pick up. So I think that's a book that if you do want to own a #1 and one of the additional printings, and it's in the wheelhouse of what you can afford, I think this is the one to definitely keep an eye on. I think there'll be a small dip in the prices, and until we see further news going forward about the series, I don't think you have to worry about anything increasing these prices too much too quickly. So this is a good one to keep an eye out for and maybe find a good deal on it. Now let's talk about the most controversial cover Controversial. Let's talk about the most talked about cover that we ever had for the series. That was Something to Kill in Children, #1, 8th print. If you're unfamiliar with what happened with this book, was that this was supposed to be a promotional free giveaway from Boom for anyone who bought foil copies of #1. You would get a free copy of this 8th print if you bought #2, and that backfired. Surprised no one. They end up changing the ratio down from 3 down to 2, and most shops held on to it. Like, it was crazy chaos that involved this book and the demand that it got. There were some YouTubers out there that talked about how this book will be completely worthless. Boom did specifically state that this is the most printed any of the other printing. So it was printed the most out of any other ones. And at the end of the day, I don't care. I don't believe this book will be worthless. Anyone who did say that, I don't believe is doing their homework properly. This book also has potential, because at the end of the day, it's a domino effect. First print becomes unobtainable, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. It's just a domino effect. You go after the book you can afford, and as of right now, if you need a printing of it, this book has a great entry point with a few buy nows on here, and they're between $10 to $15 for one. So it does suck that you have to purchase now a free book, but if you just want to get one, there are opportunities out there to get one, and I think this 8th print has potential as well. It's the same thing with the 7th print foil one. That one was one of the most highly printed ones as well, but people want the book. Now, it did help. It was a reprint of cover A. This is a completely different cover. So this book, I still think, has more potential. So if it was me, I'd be trying to find as many copies as I can at a good price as well. And I do believe people are asking for this book in a 9.8 around that $100 as well. So it's definitely something to keep an eye out for. And I think this book has potential, because at the end of the day, like, if the series does come to fruition and does get option, then the price is kind of the limit, right? It's what people want to pay for the book, and that'll then affect the prices for everything else. Now, if this show truly got like officially option from Boom, I don't think you'll see like a 50% increase in the series. That would be insane, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think you might see a gradual, maybe 25% increase. People picking up copies off eBay. Sure, maybe the cover A first prints will hit 1,500 and just stay there if the show get options, but it's hard for me to believe that anything other than those maybe limited to 500 copies or the foil or the ALL will kind of get past that 2,000 range unless it's signed or one of the top 5 rarest covers, which are some of those ratio covers that are beautiful and impossible to track down. But when it comes to just like the cover A's and additional printings, it's hard to see any of this kind of getting past that 2,000 marker. But it's something that you do want to pay attention to. I'm not a fortune teller, but this series is definitely going to probably get a show sometime down the road. I have never seen so much popularity behind a series so quickly. It's been crazy, and the prices have reflected that 100%. Like, the concept of these books being asking price of over $1,000, between $900 to $1,000, a book that came out still maybe a year and a half ago. But it is a great series. I do highly recommend you picking it up. But it is crazy, like across the board, what the price of these books are going for. And it is a reason because of the low print run and the popularity. That goes hand in hand. If you look over here on Key Collector, you'll see that like issue number 5, only 14,000 copies ordered. Issue number 6, only 14,000 copies ordered. The series of issues ordered of this book didn't really blow up till about issue number 9 and number 10. Once you hit issue 11, that's when the most amount of copies of this book was ever ordered, when it hit issue 11. Speaking of exclusive, if you check out issue number 11, one of the most highest printed runs upon release, you'll see all of these different exclusive covers for it, which was the most at the time, which was then proceeded to be beaten by issue number 12, and then beaten by issue number 13, and then issue number 14, and now we have issue number 15, which had not as many, but still really nice ones. Now, let's talk about issue number 16, and which of the 1,472 different variants you should buy for yourself. Just get all of them. Safer that way. I don't know. There's a bunch of them. I think there's like 26 of them. There's a bunch of them. But Boom did go out and say that past issue 16, there won't be any more store exclusive covers for this book, which I find to be an interesting statement, because they are literally saying that they don't want the book to be diluted throughout the market. I do believe they want that exclusivity. Like, they're foregoing a bunch of money by not having shops do exclusives of their book. Like, that's a lot of money they're saying no to. We want that cover A, cover B, maybe a ratio. We want that limited amount. Personally, I think it's great for the series. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it is epic that there's like 27 different exclusives, but you wouldn't want that. I mean, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do is how you do it. How did two bros put it? Collect your way, right? I enjoy how many people love the series, but I wouldn't want issue 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 to have 20 different covers. Like, that is not as much fun for me. And it's a great thing they're bringing so much publicity to the series for the first issue of the main arc back. One of the things you want to be careful with. You don't want to order too many. You don't want to miss out on it. A lot of them are low print run copies, so just keep an eye out for them. They'll all be coming out soon. Some of them already have sold out, so take a look, see which ones you may like, see what's still available. But there are a lot of copies of 16 out there, so hopefully that's one thing that's going to be interesting, right? Will 16 it has to be the most printed issue out of all of them, pretty much maybe combined with every other issue. I think I may have read somewhere that issue 16 was like 160,000 copies. So that's insane and amazing all at the same time. But it's one of those books where, like, if you can find one of the cool exclusives, pick it up. Pick up the one you love. I know which one I'm going to pick up and which one I really liked a lot. But at the end of the day, I still believe that these issue number ones, if they could still be had, it is really hard to justify paying that $1,200 for a book that just came out a year and a half ago, where it's just 15 issues in and like there's a post to be a series. But if you truly believe in the book, and I do, like I haven't sold, other than that one Frison cover at the live sale because I want to do something crazy, like all of my cover A's, they're not going anywhere. I'm holding on to them. All of my J. Lees are there. They're not going anywhere. All of my additional printings, probably not going anywhere. They're staying right there. It's a series that I really do enjoy, and a series I really do kind of believe long term now. I mean, I've been there since the beginning, so at this point, I've sold a couple issues, and I'm just like, all right, I'm good. I just want to see what happens next. But for you, the individual who may not have these issues yet, who are still out there hunting for these issues, one thing I would suggest, though, is like make sure you do your homework on there. Don't just go out and pick one up because you're afraid you're going to miss out. Like, try to find deals, talk to your friends, do some homework. But it's a series that I think will continue to skyrocket up in price. Not skyrocket up, man, but it's a series that I think will continue to be on the incremental rise of value as the next year goes on. I did a YouTube community post maybe about 3 months ago when I think I did that post of like, will Something to Kill Children hit 1,000 by the end of the year? It has hit 1,000 and surpassed it within that 3-month period. Now, there's a lot of outside influence that could be affecting this, but at the end of the day, think about it. When was the last time a series like this has gained so much traction, so much quick, and had such a fandom behind it, so much love and attention, that it absolutely exploded all the price? It's something that you definitely do want to pay attention to. If you're trying to track one down, keep hunting. People out there have copies. Just got to work out a deal with them. It's going to be hard, but I definitely think you can still get copies of this book out there. Maybe definitely try to pick up those local comic book shop day foil variants and or these 8th printings. I think these 8th printings have some room to grow. That's just my opinion. Definitely don't think these 8th printings are worthless. If your shop has some, try to pick up a couple. Same thing with the local comic shop day foils too. I think those still have more potential to grow. I do believe there'll be a cap on those eventually. Just look for a dip in those. I think more people will be posting them due to the prize of it being worth as much as it is now. But at the end of the day, I think Something is Killing Children is here to stay. I think the show is inevitable at this point. And what does that mean for prices? Where will these prices go? Where do you see a cover A first print capping out at? I mean, if the show does officially get announced, I mean, 1,500 is probably where I see, maybe 15, 17 where I see it capping out at, which is still hard to believe for a book. But I love having this discussion with you guys. This topic is so engaging for me. I love this because I've been a part of the series since the beginning. So let me know down in the comments below, guys, what are your thoughts on this series? Where do you think the potential for this book is? Do you think nothing's going to happen? Do you think the show is going to be the next Walking Dead? How high will these prices get? I'd love to have a discussion with you guys. Where do you think the potential is for this series going forward, and how high could it possibly get? I look forward to a discussion to have with you guys later. And please never hesitate to reach out to me with any questions or anything at all. I love having that chat and conversation with you guys when I can. I know life is busy and gets in the way. It's crazy sometimes, but I look forward to it. That's it for today's video. It's enough of me rambling about Something Killing Children and prices and market and things like that. But I hope you found it beneficial. If you did, please Hulk smash that like button, subscribe. We just recently passed 2,600 subscribers. What is happening? We're on our way to 3,000, and I can't thank you guys enough for helping me along this journey, and hopefully it's been just entertaining for you. But guys, that's it. Skeff, out.